In this video, learning the skill of talking in public, talking on camera so you can share your ideas. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro. Now, you might be thinking that this is going to be a video about Jack's inappropriate workplace health and safety standards. It's not. This is a video, Ben and I were out, at some point there's going to be another video about this pit. I don't know what order we're going to release them. Ben and I were out and looking at outlet pits in wetlands today, but we just had an interesting conversation about public speaking and presenting. So the context for this video is that, you know, at the time that I'm recording this, we've released like 80 Ideanthro videos, and I've had a few people come up to me, and God, it feels really weird saying this because it feels slightly like big noting, but anyway, bear with me. Have people come up to me and go, "Hey Jack, look, I'm really enjoying the videos. You're really good at explaining stuff." And firstly, thank you. That's really flattering, and I really appreciate it because the whole point of making these videos is to share knowledge. So if you're finding me good at presenting, then presumably that means we're kind of hitting the mark in some respect here. So that's great, I appreciate it. But sometimes, like, maybe I'm just reading a little bit of subtext that isn't there to it, but at least on a couple of occasions, people come up to me and said, "You're really good at presenting." And the subtext that I've heard from that is actually, "Jack, you're really good at presenting. I could never do that." And that doesn't sit entirely, I don't believe in that. I 100% believe that anyone who wants to can be good at presenting, good at public speaking. Now, you don't have to if you're not interested in it. I'm not saying you should be doing lots of public speaking or lots of speaking to video. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're interested in being able to talk in public, but don't currently feel that it's something you're entirely comfortable with, I 100% believe that it is a learnable skill. It's not, in my opinion, some sort of innate like talent that you're born with. Because I look around and go, like, for the vast majority of people, we are all really, really comfortable having a conversation one-on-one or even in a small group. And then at some point we get to public speaking and things change. There's something different about that dynamic. And the way that I conceptualize this, and whether this is strictly speaking true or whether it's just the way I kind of process this, is from a neurological point of view. When we are having a conversation, so say Ben and I were talking before about wetlands, when we're having a conversation, we're not having to try during that conversation. It just happens. And that's because everything that's going on, the talking, the hand gestures, the motion, is being controlled subconsciously in our brains. We're not having to consciously think about that stuff. And then that frees up our conscious brain to think about the content that we are talking about. In exactly the same way that as I'm presenting this video, I'm not thinking about how I'm talking about this. I'm literally just thinking ahead on the content and the next thing that I'm about to say. So when we're talking one-on-one, we're in this subconscious, like our subconscious is doing most of the heavy lifting and our conscious is just able to think about the content that we're trying to deliver. And that's really useful because the subconscious has huge processing power. So it can do many, many things at once, do them very, very efficiently, but doesn't have the ability to logically, like to reason, to go if this, then that. Whereas the conscious mind has huge amounts of power to reason, to think through, okay, that, then that means that, but it doesn't have very much breadth in processing power. So it can really only do one thing. So I think when we come to public speaking, and I reflect back on when I first started public speaking, was a bit more nervous about these things, I think that what happens is we get up to public speak and it's a bit out of our comfort zone. So instead of going like one-on-one, instead of going, okay, most of this stuff's being handled subconsciously, or the hand gestures, or the way we speak, the tone of voice, our body posture is all being handled subconsciously. I think we come to public speak and then it's a little bit different. And so we start consciously thinking about that stuff. Instead of just letting ourselves chill out, do what we normally do in a conversation, or which we do very well in a conversation every day, suddenly we start thinking about that stuff. And so we think about, oh, where do I hold my hands? Where are my notes? Am I looking down too much? Or I need to look up and scan the audience. We start thinking about all this stuff. And that's using our conscious mind. And as I said, our conscious mind has it's very good logically in that it can work stuff out and you can focus really well with the conscious mind, but it's very narrow. You can't essentially multitask with it. Let's not go into multitasking, whether that exists or not, but it has this very narrow bandwidth. So you get up there, suddenly you're on the podium, you're thinking about where your hands are and all this stuff, and you've used up all your conscious bandwidth, and so you can't start thinking about content. And so the content doesn't come out as smoothly as it would as if you were talking one-on-one. And so then things start to get a little bit jittery, you start to get a little bit worried. So my thought would be, well, if we want to get better at public speaking, essentially it's just like any other skill. We want to do it enough and get comfortable enough such that all that stuff, all that body posture, all that tone becomes subconscious in the same way it's subconscious as when you're talking normally. And then you can just get on with thinking about content when you're up there, being yourself and delivering a really good message. And so for me, when people come up to me and say, oh, Jack, I really like your videos, I really like your style of presenting, I always think to myself, and sometimes say it, sometimes don't, I always think to myself, that's really cool. If you want to do it, the way to do it is simply this: just create opportunities for yourself to present in front of lots of people, because the repetition, the skill through working on it embeds those neurological pathways that then allows you to do all the stuff around it subconsciously, and in the moment you're just thinking about content in exactly the same way I'm just thinking about content trying to explain this to you. So the take-home message here from my point of view is, if you're finding these videos useful, if you like the presenting, if you're sitting there and going, you know what, I've got stuff to share, it doesn't have to be through video, it could be through conference, it could be through whatever mechanism you want to share. If you're sitting there and going, I really like this idea, I really like what Jack's doing here, I also have stuff to share, then what, but you're there going, oh, I don't know if I could do it. My message to you would be, just start. Actually, this is something that online vloggers, I watch a few like people who daily vlog about their lives, because actually it's really fascinating. But also to get some ideas about videography and the like. And every daily vlogger says exactly this. For anyone who wants to start daily vlogging, the way to start daily vlogging is to start daily vlogging. You just pick up a camera and do it. And my advice here would be exactly the same. If you want to get better at presenting, if you want to make videos, just create opportunities to do it. Submit a conference paper or pick up a video camera and just do it. Because the repetition, it's just like learning a skill like anything else. It's just repetition. Okay, sweet. So did I get to the take-home? Yeah, the take-home message was just repetition. And yeah, and hopefully, actually what I secretly hope out of this is that someone is sitting there and have stuff that they want to share, someone who's watching this, and decides that this is the video that gets them to pick up a camera and start sharing it. Because you might think that with me making this, like obviously this is quite good promotion for me and what I do. You might be sitting there and thinking, Jack, you probably don't want anyone else making videos like this because this is your thing at the moment, this is what you are currently known for. But that's not the case, because I derive heaps, the reason I started making Ideanthro videos was because I derived heaps of benefit from watching videos in like a physiotherapy, strength and conditioning, human movement sort of space. So secretly what I actually want to happen here is for other people with really good water-sensitive urban design ideas to start making their own videos, which I can then watch and learn from. That's actually what I want to happen here. So if that's you out there, if you've got stuff that you want to share in this space, I really, really hope this video gets you out there making videos, because I want to watch someone else's videos, not just free watch my own, because that's really sad. Okay, sweet. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.